Blarrett.
Is that our ship name?
Blarrett. No.
It is our ship name.
Ship?
Yeah, you don't know what a ship name is?
No.
Why?
I don't know. Don't live in an ocean. Or any body of water for that matter. Actually, that's a lie. I live by a lake, but a pond mainly.
You've never heard a ship name before?
No, I've heard of christening a ship, like you get champagne.
No, very different.
Well, I know what that is.
A
But like,
ship name is when you combine two names together.
Hello everyone and welcome back to your favorite show for all things gaming and really tech related, Gentoo. I'm Garrett Bevans and I'm excited that you're here. We have some great games that are being released this week, so let's have a peek at the first one. How to Say Goodbye is a beautiful narrative puzzle game inspired by picture books. Reorganize the environment and solve puzzles to help a group of ghosts on their way to finally move on. Overcome tricky grid-based puzzles to lead the ghosts onward and travel more than 15 chapters, from your kitchen to the moon. How to Say Goodbye releases on November 3rd for PC.
All squads report in. Helos ready for takeoff. Mayday, mayday, we've been hit.
The next game is From Space, a solo and co-op action shooter for squads up to 4 players. Take on the challenge of liberating the Earth from an alien infestation with your friends, using over-the-top weaponry in a post-apocalyptic world with awesomely stylized graphics. The apocalypse has never been so much fun. From Space releases on November 3rd on Switch and PC. That's what we have coming out this week. Make sure to check those out in the description below and leave a like and subscribe to KNWT. Now, time for some gaming packs. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Rundown. I'm your host Garrett and today we look into one of my all-time favorite games with Max Payne 3. In Max Payne you play as, well, Max Payne, an ex-NYPD detective who has lost everything in life and yet still pushes onward. Max finds himself as a bodyguard working for the rich and suspicious Branco family in Sao Paulo, Brazil, miles away from his home. As the family is targeted by assassins and gangs, Max soon finds out a more dark and twisted story to the Branco family, as he tries to keep himself and the family alive as well. The plot is fantastic, twists and turns at every corner. It feels like a really great old-fashioned noir movie, with Max's very own gloomy and dark narration of all the events taking place around him. Also, much like Deathloop from a couple weeks ago, we have some cool graphics and text during the cutscenes as well. While they are a little distracting and disorienting at first, you quickly get a hold of them and you learn to appreciate them as they add a cool twist to the story itself. The game even has these cool comic book-like wipes and splits to add some style. But enough about the story. Up next we have the equally as good gameplay from Max Payne 3. The best way to sum up Max Payne 3's gameplay is like this. Take the high-stakes, grounded yet brutal action of the John Wick movies and throw in some slow-motion, bullet-time effects from the Matrix movies, and you basically have Max Payne. The player has the ability to slow down time and carefully pinpoint his targets and take them out. Now, if you want to look really cool, Max can also dive around to escape the raining lead. While diving, Max can take out his foes as he dives into cover, and it always looks cool. While at times the gameplay can feel kind of slow as you're stuck behind cover as enemies fire away at you, don't worry as there's always spectacular and over-the-top action moments, like a boat ramping through a building in a high-speed chase. The game will also take you to multiple locations, from the dark and gloomy streets of New Jersey to the hot and crowded dangerous favelas of Brazil. Now, when you're shooting away at guys, also keep an eye out for the golden gun parts as they add some pizzazz for your next playthrough of the game. Also, look out for a 1-up on your enemies. Now, they won't always be there in front of you, but just keep an eye out, as seen here as I shoot a brick out of a pickup truck, making my job a heck of a lot easier. Finally, we have the cherry on top. When it comes to the last enemy in a certain part of the game, you will enter a super slow motion shot tracking your bullet. That has been Max Payne 3 here on The Rundown. If you want to see more, check out the other shows we have here on KNWT Channel 8. I'm your host, Garrett, signing off. Have a good one. Okay, Blake, I've been thinking about this for a while. What is your favorite video game?
Garrett, I didn't know you could think. Okay, anyways. So, you know, I made that Where's Waldo pack a couple weeks ago and stuff like that.
Yes, I remember.
You know, I've been thinking a lot about, like, Waldo. Like, where did he come from? Why is he there? Like, everyone's so worried about finding him, but, like, you know, why are we finding him? So, I have this theory. So, the U.S. government, Waldo is invented in the 1960s. Coincidence? I think not. Waldo was being used as a ploy to get Americans to look for people in red and white striped shirts and glasses because they're communists. You know, like the Red Scare, stuff like that. So like Cold War, Soviet Union, you know what I'm talking about?
Okay, yeah, so you're saying Waldo's a communist?
He might be. We need to find him.
Blake, the question was, what's your favorite video game?
You know, I was getting to that part because it's Doodle Jump 2. I mean, that's a no-brainer. Like, you should have known that. The audience knew that.
Okay.
Dumb question. So, Waldo.
Hey guys, I'm Lauren Liberty and welcome to Lauren's esoteric dive into games she enjoyed playing as a child and presents it to her audience. Or the really easy to remember acronym, LEDIGSEPAACAPITHA. Now this week we're going to be talking about Spyro, one of my favorite characters of all time. But we're not going to be talking about this one, the one that was remastered a few years ago that almost everyone knows about. No, we're going to be talking about this one. Yeah, the one that was voiced by Elijah Wood. The Legend of Spyro: A New Beginning was released on several consoles, but I played it on the good old PS2. Now, if you're aware of how the other Spyro game trilogy works, they're all open-world platformer types. Now forget all of that. This game is action-packed and dark. Spyro is killing dudes with his special powers and smacking the crap out of everyone in a much more violent fashion. You see the bright colors of the other game? They're gone now. They died. Murdered, actually. Even though this was advertised as a prequel to the other games, it's almost a completely different world. But I still love the look of these games, for the most part. And it is definitely not this thing that I hate. How could they massacre my boy like this? Why? Anyways, on to the story. So, Spyro is apparently Moses. Like, actually, these bad dudes are coming to kill all the baby dragons, and Spyro was a special purple dragon, so this elder dragon, Ignitus, voiced by Gary Oldman.
Home. Sweet home.
Takes him and floats him down the river so he can survive. Spyro then gets adopted by this family of dragonflies, and Spyro believes he is one as well. Spyro ends up learning he is, in fact, not a dragonfly, and is adopted, of course, and gets upset and leaves to find his family. But his bestie / no longer brother, who is played by David Spade,
even if one of them is purple and does have some weight issues.
Weight issues, huh?
doesn't let him go that easy. Anyways, he tags along with you, and you end up meeting Ignitus, and Spyro learns about his purpose. There's this evil dragon named Cinder who's actually trying to open this portal that will let go this super bad guy. Of course, Spyro isn't powerful enough yet, so he has to go rescue the other guardian dragon, so they will teach him his other powers. So shabing shabang, Spyro saves all these dragons, helps all these different creatures, and he makes it to the big fight. Spyro then learns Cinder was just another dragon like him, taken and used as a puppet. So the hero that Spyro is ends up saving her at the end of the game. For the gameplay, at times, it was a bit frustrating. For what is supposed to be a kid's game, sometimes it is a bit complex. While there are all of a sudden spots where you are dying constantly, it can also get repetitive later on because of the fact you're fighting these same dudes just with different skins the whole game. The different elements are supposed to spice it up, but there aren't any real great combos I got the hang of, except for flinging them off the ledge with electricity. That was the fun part. The sound design in this game is really good. The music is beautiful in my opinion. The fighting noises keep it interesting. The dialogue is pretty dang solid with a great cast, and I think it's pretty funny. Sometimes it is a little awkward. I think overall the dialogue is pretty good with some awkward spots, but it's a great cast, so I think it's pretty funny. I really enjoyed David Spade because he totally fits the comic relief role perfectly, and during my replay of the next two games, Spark's voice actor changed every time and got worse in my opinion. While this game isn't rated super high, I still believe it's really fun. I think it tells its own story and goes off the original trilogy in a totally different way that I think is pretty good. While some things are a bit clunky and the cutscenes can really change drastically on their art style, I still love Spyro. So, I think it's pretty good for 2006, and I get to keep loving Spyro. That's all we have for LEDIGSEPAACAPITHA this week. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!
Kirsten, what are you doing here?
What do you think I'm doing here? Making TikToks? And it's not about what I do, it's about what we do here. So we start with storyboarding the content we want to create for our clients. It could be anyone from small businesses, nonprofits, and organizations both on campus and in the Maryville community. We write, we film, we edit, we create, and then we wait. So if you're someone who thinks you need us, we are KNWT Creative Services.
This week on Channel 8 News, we'll be looking at power outages in Kyiv, Russia's suspended participation in the Green Deal, the winners from Northwest homecoming festivities, and more.
For stories that matter to you, catch new episodes of Channel 8 News every Monday at 2 p.m. on our YouTube page at KNWT TV.
What's up, everybody? This is Steve-O. What's up, everybody? This is Steve-O. You're watching KNWT, practically the national champs of college TV. Yeah.
Welcome to Bowman's Basics, where we talk about, well, all the basics to some of today's most popular esports titles. Today's episode, Valorant. Today we're going to be talking about why I chose Valorant, who it's for, how it's different, why is it a PC exclusive, some basics, some more basics, the agents of the game, and then finally we're going to talk about the rank system, where it fits in esports, and its most popular player, TenZ. Now, why did I choose Valorant? Now, Valorant was created by Riot Games, who also own Teamfight Tactics and League of Legends. Now, to sum up Valorant, a lot of people will describe it as a mixture between CSGO, a first-person shooter, and Overwatch, a very team and ability-based game. Now, the question of the day, who is Valorant for? Valorant can be very frustrating at times, but if you have patience, it can definitely be a fun game to play. Now, what makes Valorant different? If it's just described as a mixture of other games, what makes it, well, different from those games? Although Riot definitely did take influence from CSGO and Overwatch, Riot definitely mixed in their own spice when creating Valorant.
Oh my gosh!
Now, unfortunately, if you want to play Valorant, you have to play it on a computer. Why is that? With how fast you're moving from enemy to enemy, it just makes sense to use a mouse over a controller. Now, when it comes to learning the game, it can be quite complex. First, two teams are formed and spawned on opposite ends of the map. The goal of the attackers is to navigate through the map onto a site and eventually plant a bomb, which is known as the spike. As a defender, your goal is to, well, defend. After navigating to a site, your objective is to keep the attackers from planting the spike. One way to do that is to stop the attackers from going through choke points or entrances onto the site. As an attacker, your primary goal is to plant the spike within the first 100 seconds of a round. Another way to win the round as an attacker is to just simply kill all the defenders. Now, as a defender, your primary objective is to defuse the spike if the spike was planted. Another way to win the round as a defender is to kill all the attackers before they can even plant spike. Agents are characters in the game with very unique abilities that serve different purposes throughout the round. There are 4 different types of agents in Valorant: controllers, duelists, initiators, and sentinels. As a duelist, your goal is to create space for your team by getting kills, using your utility, and getting enemies off of site. As an initiator, your goal is to back up your team while entering a site, or to help retake a site. As a sentinel, your goal is to have as much information as possible throughout the map, watching your flank, watching site, watching entrances, and to ultimately find where enemies are at throughout the round. As a controller, your primary use is keeping enemies out of line of sight within your team. This can be by using smoke, splashes, or any other utility that keeps enemies off site. There are 9 total ranks in the game, with each rank having its own 3-tier system, except for one rank, Radiant. Most players sit at around Bronze or Silver, while the best players sit at around Immortal, with only the most elite players having the title of Radiant. When people talk about Valorant in the esports scene, the name TenZ always seems to come up. So who is TenZ? TenZ is a player who started playing CSGO, but eventually switched to Valorant upon launch. TenZ originally signed with Cloud9, but eventually made his way to Sentinels to play for one of the greatest Valorant teams of all time. At its core, Valorant can be a somewhat stressful game, but once you get the hang of it, it can be a lot more fun. Thanks for watching Bowman's Basics. Andrew, signing off.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Gentoo. Make sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell to not miss the rest of this season's episodes and support us. You can also go watch previous episodes and seasons from the end screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.